The next fireside chat on hybrid employee experience, building a roadmap for 2022, will answer questions like what the superlative employee experience will look like in 2022, how to recalibrate your technology for modernization in a simplified, streamlined way, etc. For this engaging fireside chat, we have with us Vaibhav Goyal, Vice President HR Reliance Industries, Bhumika Srivastav, Head of HR and Director Employee Experience Airbnb. I would like to invite Avantika Susan Nigam, Head of HR PepsiCo Global Business Services, to moderate the discussion. Over to you, Avantika.
Hi, Bhumika. Hi, Vaibhav. I'm really thrilled to be having this discussion with you on the hybrid employee experience, building a roadmap for 2022. The last 20 odd months have been fairly interesting for all of us as we have adjusted to a very new way of working and the constant changing of gears as the pandemic has evolved. I think as we've stabilized in each of our organizations and as individual employees, how do you think the employee experience has evolved since the pandemic started? Let me start with Bhumika.
Hi, Avantika. Thank you for having me here, and it's a pleasure talking to you and Vaibhav. It evolved quite a bit, I would say. None of us would have ever imagined a pandemic, and we never had a playbook in employee experience or in HR how to handle a pandemic and after effects of it. I think some things that it really brought out at front and center is employee well-being, trust, transparency, and connection. Every organization's values got really tested in last 20-24 months. It's no more sort of a pamphlet to be put on a wall and say, here are our values. It's actually to live the values. And that has sort of added quite a bit in the realm of employee experience and human resources. Every leader, the behaviors that we saw changing in last 24 months, the behaviors that really, or I would rather say the empathetic leadership really get called out, it got called out this year. And it continues to be the case. And sort of also innovation, I would say, Avantika, nothing is same as what we've seen 2 years back or 3 years back. Industries moving towards hybrid work situation, work environment. And it's going to be a very different world for all of us. And it's a continued journey for us to figure out what's working well for different kinds of talent segment and what helps in both in terms of achieving the business objective as well as counting for employees' well-being and health. So that's how I would like to sum it up.
Awesome. Thank you, Bhumika. What do you think, Vaibhav? How has the employee experience evolved?
Thank you, Avantika, and greetings to all ETHR conference audience as well. I think it has fundamentally changed. I would rather say accelerated the definition of employee experience. Before the pandemic, if you see, there were some things which were on the sides in the framework of employee experience, especially the well-being, like Bhumika touched upon. But also to add to that, the definition of employee has become more family-oriented. So we are looking at not just employees' experience, but how employees in their family context are also facing some of the challenges. And the onus has come a lot onto the organizations, from especially for mid to large organizations, that the definition of employee experience now encapsulates the entire employee and the family experience. The well-being, which was probably on the sides in the framework of employee experience, is now probably the biggest and the central pillar of employee experience. In addition to that, I think the collaboration and the agile framework, especially for the HR teams, which probably they were thinking and they were getting comfortable, okay, we'll get to know about it over the next 2 to 3 years. I think the pandemic has really brought that right into the center. The agile experience also, I would say, is something which were probably a long way away, but suddenly it's like right into our face.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing, Vaibhav. And if I was just to add, I think research as well as the experience that we're having in our respective organizations is telling us that different cohorts have got impacted very differently during during the pandemic in their work lives. So there is a cohort that has, started enjoying hybrid working, the flexibility, or just complete virtual working because they've rediscovered hobbies, if they've rediscovered their families, and things like that. And then there is a whole section of employees, especially those who don't have any dependents or live alone, that are actually going through a massive amount of loneliness, a massive amount of disconnectedness. During the pandemic. And then there is the group of employees on whom there is a huge additional responsibility of domestic workload that has come on, largely women, but people who've had a huge addition, and a lot of people actually thinking now of leaving the workforce, especially women now considering downgrading, or decelerating their careers. So really lots and lots that has happened affecting different cohorts differently. And Bhumika, you touched upon it beautifully around well-being. I think there's been a collective grief that employees have gone through. Lots have lost family members and people they know, and then lots have also been through the fear, an exacerbated fear for their children, for their families, for their parents, etc. So it's been a very tumultuous time, and of course we're all learning how to adapt to the new normal. How are your individual organizations evolving their approach to employee experience in the hybrid world? Let me this time start with Vaibhav.
So thank you, Vantika. I think picking the leaf from what you said, like the cohorts, at least I would say that in our organization, Reliance, there's a lot more persona-based approach. Different cohorts have got impacted in a different way. And also the hybrid working is, like we are hearing in the conferences, it does not cover the 100% of the population really. So there's a large section of population which is into manufacturing plants, which is into retail stores, who are working in the fields, and people who are supporting in the digital and the telecom services. Right now, what we're using actually have been out and working throughout the difficult times as well. So our approach is primarily going to be extremely cohort based. The first and the foremost priority is going to be the health and well-being of not just the individual, but the family as well. And when we say family, the dependents, what is their situation? Many families have got affected in a very, very severe manner, even including loss of some of their family members. So we are going to take us probably an approach which is a slower approach in terms of getting back to office. And our focus at the same time is as much in how we help employees, not just on the productivity front, but also to deal with the change. And one of the big initiatives is also around how to help people deal with the mental stress and cope with the new challenges. So it's a multi-pronged approach, and cohort based, family based, and health. These are the fundamental principles on which our strategy is based.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing, Vaibhav. Bhumika, how about you?
Yeah, I would say, Vantika, a couple of things, right? One is for Airbnb, it was a massive change because we are a travel organization. So we've seen a lot of sort of disruption in that sense in 2020, when at the peak of COVID, we had to take some difficult decisions. And then we've seen completely we've come full circle by sort of releasing an IPO this year. So who would have thought for a travel industry to come up with an IPO? But I think we always go back to our mission, whether it is employee experience or the way we do our business, which is about imagining a workplace or imagining a place where anybody can belong anywhere. That's our travel business mission. And for our employee experience as well, we continue to focus in similar terms. So having said that, to sort of reimagining how employee experience is going to look like for a segment last year where we took a difficult decision, so how empathetically we sort of held our employees during that time, and luckily we've got almost most of them, 90% of our employees joining us back this year. with in terms of giving them support till the time they are able to sort of fund themselves. That shows empathetic leadership, transparency, trust-based relationship, fairness, creating an equitable workplace, right? And in a ongoing scenario where we have everyone working from home, these are the pillars that we have kept in mind while redesigning employee experience for the organization. So in constantly innovating in terms of what are the new talent process, talent management practices that we want to put in place, whether in terms to hire people in a scenario where we are seeing, great resignations. We are seeing startup boom in India with $13 billion investment. We are seeing fierce talent, competition for talent coming from all segment, to sort of establishing your brand in a virtual setup and continue engaging with the talent community and onboarding them, to creating an equitable workplace where everyone is treated fairly and transparently communicating in which direction the organization is going, and clearly calling out, identifying for people that what's in it for them, right? So they need to attach themselves to a purpose if they are, working in a hybrid setup or otherwise also, right? Like a fear of managers or everybody else not knowing what an individual is working when you're not seeing the team member pretty much in front of you. It's about constantly communicating, constantly creating the sense of purpose among employees, and then creating a inclusive workplace. So whether it is our DNI effort or whether it is our effort towards creating a sense of belonging in our community, um, and towards then creating opportunity for innovation and technology driven processes. So how do we tackle engagement in a hybrid work? How do we keep providing technology to our employees to be able to perform better? And how do we respect their need for well-being, space, and constant communication?
That is awesome. And I do see a lot of things common between what Reliance, Airbnb, and PepsiCo are doing. So just to add in to that, I think a few layers, right, that we've had to do in PepsiCo in terms of interventions. The first was really technology, right? Do we have enough technology and tools to support virtual working and then hybrid working? And we've added on, layered, multiple interventions. Some of them were already underway, but we expedited them as we moved into, the virtual world. So of course, most of our core processes, etc., are already digitized and automated. And we introduced in a lot of analytics to tell people how long they're working, how much free time do they actually have, how much downtime do they actually have, because work-life balance started becoming a huge challenge the moment people started working virtually. Suddenly we're working 12 hours, 14 hours, and the work pressure increased. So that was one of the first things we did. Created lots of collab tools, lots of lots of upgradations to our existing tools, recognition platforms, etc. The other really was around creating a comprehensive policy on what we call is work that works. So how do you do hybrid? How does that really work? What is it for? Why can't we sit at home always? Because that's how we managed to do it for more than a year and a half. And so we have this policy which really chalks out, what are the reasons, what's the purpose of the office, and why would you come into the office? Now, of course, for our factory-based employees and for sales employees, that doesn't apply, because just like you said, Vaibhav, they go out into the field every day. But for office-based employees, we really made this around 4 C's, which was around connect, collaborate, co-create, and celebrate. So that's really why you come together, and why what the role of the office is. And what we've been doing around enabling hybrid working is to create those moments where people recognize what this is for. So a lot of our employees are actually no longer in the office locations. They went back to their home locations. And so we had some city connects across different cities, where we actually got people to come back and meet each other, after a very long time. A lot of them were new employees. Similarly, we've been slowly, starting some meetings in the office where we've flown down employees and got them to come back and see the value of celebrating, collaborating, connecting, and co-creating together, and things like that. So those are really some of the ways, in addition to all the empathy, care, the health and well-being, and all those other, ways in which we're trying to support people now working in the new normal. Awesome. So, as we move forward in the conversation, I'm really keen to understand what are some of the challenges that you faced as your workforce has moved into, the hybrid ways of working, and really what role do you see leaders playing as we face some of those challenges? And I'll start with Bhumika.
Yeah, Avantika, many challenges. It's not as easy as it seems. Um, First and foremost for us is definitely how do we take care of well-being of our employees, and especially given COVID situation in India. We've seen collective grief in all of us in India. We've been through difficult time. It's been a difficult year for everyone, and the experience been very, very different for different people. And some of it is manifesting in some behaviors. We're sort of seen a little lower resilience because there's a constant resilience that everyone has to show given the changes that pandemic has brought in. So one is to how do we continue sort of providing opportunities or platform to our people to circle back with us, and how do we take some of the critical actions right in time, where we know that this is something that we cannot wait for a perfect answer, where an employee is in need for something and we need to provide either a care opportunity or a sort of something to relate to the well-being of an employee, which so to find out, to figure out, constantly innovate on sort of providing care and support, and looking after mental well-being of our employees definitely is something that we continue to work on. And it's not a one solution, so it's anything and everything under the sun. We have to sort of I would rather say that look at different segment of population, look at what their needs are and provide to them. The second is how do we find out ways and means to celebrate even small little achievement that happens in the organization. So employees have shown a lot of resilience, I would say, from last year, and it's an ever changing environment. Every 3 months or 6 months, the landscape is changing, right? From virtual, now we're shifting to hybrid. Now we are shifting to slowly opening office for people. It's also a change management. So sort of supporting through these change. How do we land some of these change well? And how do we continuously look at increasing manager capability and supporting our managers through this as well? They're really the front, right at the center and front. They are pretty much supporting larger teams, doing daily interaction, and they are in all sense are the acting HR managers. So how do we create an ecosystem that supports or enables manager to be able to have meaningful conversations, get the purpose-driven work done, continued performance in the organization. So to manage all of that, to work along with them, to continued focus on manager capability. And how we are dealing with this, Avantika, is sort of creating multiple forums, right? So we have, for example, lean-in circles in the organization where we have allies and where we also have mentors. So we have a huge mentorship platform which people can leverage for any kind of mentorship that they are looking at, We have where employees can nominate themselves to be a mentor, and where employee can be a mentee, and they can work on different skills along with these mentors, and they can continue on that journey. The other thing on manager capabilities specifically, we have been doing a lot of sessions around resilience, well-being, how to handle difficult conversations, how to provide one-to-one help and support to employees. So I think the whole piece around well-being, we have a campaign called We Care. Under that, we provide support for managers, we provide support for employees. And then, in terms of creating platform for innovation, so as I said, it's critical, right? A lot of people do get a lot of joy by achieving small little things. And if we have a platform called Empower, where we actually encourage innovation, and we ask our employees if they see any small little thing that they have an idea, they can register their idea on the platform, and we all work together to sort of implement that idea, right? So, and it could be for employees, it could be for our product, it could be for our host, guest, so all stakeholders, and any idea welcome. And last 1 year, we've sort of implemented more than 1,200 ideas, which gives sort of us an insight that people are thinking progressively. It's move forward. We are in a situation, but let's just move forward, have a sense of purpose. So that platform we has given an opportunity for people to always not only come up with a growth, it helps with a growth mindset and innovation, but also giving a sense of purpose to people. And then third, in terms of communication and recognition, as I said, there are fewer opportunities in a virtual setup that you can gather everyone together and celebrate milestones. So we keep on continuing working with different businesses to see what are the opportunities to get people on smaller platforms and have meaningful conversations. Have a even our in our framework, we had to reinvent. It's no more a typical sort of an offsite reward and recognition. It's celebrating small achievements on a day-to-day basis, and bringing that, celebrating joyful moments. So this is how we are tackling some of the things around engagement, change management, and a sense of fulfillment in our employees.
Awesome. Thank you, Bhumika. Vaibhav, how about in your organization? How have you, what are the challenges firstly you faced around employee experience, and what role are leaders playing in bridging that
Yeah, I
challenge?
think uh, Reliance as an organization is already at the forefront of growth and change in India level, So, and I would say that it's not possible without the, visionary leadership of Reliance leaders and especially the chairman. So I would say even before the pandemic really struck us unannounced, Reliance has been on a journey of a massive technology, digitalization, and platform-based kind of ways of working and operating models. And by the time pandemic hit us, I think technology was like a solved problem for Reliance. Of course, the immediate scaling of across the businesses for frontline workforces in the manufacturing plants and everywhere. I would say when we went into lockdown last year around the end of March, I think it didn't take for us more than a couple of weeks to really bring out the technology-based ways of working to each and every employee. Uh, and I'm very proud that in Reliance leadership, right from the chairman, they have been very personally involved on a daily basis. That not just we have to make sure that how we shift our ways of working in the business continuity, but the more important thing is how do we really bring out the health and the care to each and every employee, direct and indirect employee, and to their family members. And you would be surprised to know that the entire Reliance leadership under the sponsorship and vision of our chairman, we launched a platform for a daily COVID management and tracking for 1 million employees, the indirect staff, and their family members, pan-India basis. So we had a kind of an in-house full team medical department and all, who were just available to any employee on a click of a button or on a basis of quick call the entire HR workforce. We adapted our focus and capabilities to the immediate health emergencies, and it was happening for a million people. And this year, when the wave two kind of struck us, I must say that there was not a single direct, indirect employee. It didn't matter how they're associated with the Reliance. Anybody who gave us a port of call that they are sick or they have an emergency wherever in India, they were immediately provided the best of medical care. I think moving on from that, from a day-to-day working perspective, uh, the leaders in Reliance are walking the talk here. So they have been doing very much connect with their team members. They have been the first ones to adopt all the tools. A lot of in-house tools have been technology solutions have been developed in Reliance as well as adopted global solutions. Like our learning solutions went through the roof. So within a month of our lockdown situation, we were clocking 1 million learning hours a month. And so we really made sure that the people who need help, they are getting help in within most easy, convenient manner. And people who are working, they get productivity tools and all kind of solutions as well. In terms of challenges, I think this is not without challenges, of course. It took us through a pain cycle as well. But I think collectively, the resolve to and the purpose to make the best solutions available has helped us pass through it. One of the main challenge for us right now is actually how do we bring flexibility to employees and empower them to make some choices as per their own needs. And I think the optionality and the flexibility framework that we need to weave into our operating model for a hybrid working probably in 2022 is going to be the challenge for us. And I must re-emphasize what Bhumika has been saying, that the middle layer management and the managers, and they require the maximum support and the guidance on this. And the entire HR team has been bringing in all kind of solutions around it. A whole platform and a framework around our Swasthya, which is a very holistic well-being framework, has been launched. And it continues to be well adopted across the middle management and all the employees. Building upon these manager capabilities is going to be the key and also a challenge for us. One thing that probably we should, uh, not just in Reliance, but I would say across the organization, we have to do is uh, this virtual working has probably created a K model of organization. Within the teams and people who know well each other, they have probably become strongly connected even more. But if a new employee joins a team or a new member joins a team, the the I would say the bonding and assimilation into the team, that is slightly taking a backseat in a pure virtual environment. And I think these are the kind of aspects where we have to really see in the hybrid space, that where virtual is really proving to be very useful and where we need to complement it by hybrid working. And that kind of a combination, I would say, is still a work in progress for us. And we will figure it out along with many of the other organizations like yours.
Awesome, great perspective, Vaibhav, and I love how different, different organizations like RIL, such a massive, enterprise, and then Airbnb, really in the tech space. Some of the challenges are similar, and some of the challenges are different. You know, PepsiCo is no different either. The part of PepsiCo that I lead HR for, which is Global Business Services, we have increased headcount by 200% in the pandemic. So the point that you ended on, Webhub, which is how do you integrate new hires, for us that has been a top priority, because when we went into the lockdown, the percentage of population that we were at versus today, like there's no comparison, right? Very few people had physically met each other. So for us, I think while we focused on everything else that you spoke of, which is around health and well-being, we had a very similar approach in terms of having, a core team that was actually focused on COVID support. We had a lot of vendors nationally that were supporting us, ambulance services, hospital services, just virtual doctor support, etc. And similar stuff for vaccinations and things like that. But I think the basic elements of connect with a company, right? They get lost and broken when someone has only interacted with you over, a small screen on a laptop. So essentially, when you joined the company, you just changed your laptop, but everything else stayed the same, in your work life. So for us, that building that connect has been a huge priority, and I think there we've done some tremendous work. Every year we have this annual event, which we call Hum Blue. Blue is the color of PepsiCo, and there, we have a lot of family events. We have a lot of family performances, etc., in person usually. And my enterprise is actually not even 3 years old yet. So the first year we had it in person. Last year it was virtual. But people came in, and some people came in and did performances in a common area so that we could record them, etc. And this year we are actually going back to in person and hybrid. And tomorrow we have a sports day happening with 1,000 employees and their family members coming into a stadium for the first family event we're going to have, which is after vaccinations. That was the last time everybody met, but that wasn't very exciting because you're all coming to get a poke. So this is we are very excited about doing that. Another thing we've been doing is actually city connects. So our leadership has traveled to different cities, met employees, where they are. And again, similar to what you spoke of, Bhumika, we've got multiple employee resource groups around the Women's Inclusion Network, around men advocating real change, which is male allies. We've got an ERG called Equal, which is for the LGBTQ community and their allies. And we've got one around CSR. We've done a tremendous amount of work on actually supporting our communities during this time. For a fairly young organization, I think that purpose-driven approach has really helped. But we continue to have challenges around, and from time to time it goes down, then comes up, goes down, then comes up. The first one is around micromanagement. I think many employees have been feeling that in the virtual world, they don't like being called and asked 20 times whether you've done this or not. But new managers really don't understand how to empower their teams. So that's something that keeps coming up from time to time, and we are keeping an eye on it as all of us get used to working. Continue to get used to working without seeing our employees and our teams on a day-to-day basis. Fantastic. I'm really enjoying this conversation. I think as we move forward in the conversation, I would really love to understand how you are actually helping your teams and managers stay connected in this hybrid world. Let me start with Bhumika.
Avantika, this is a great question, and I think this is, again, as I said, it's pretty much a everyday conversation. It's not one one solution for everyone. Having a open communication, providing a communication platform to our managers and employees helped quite a bit. So there are various communication channels that we opened. And we are still, so Airbnb is still, we are continuing to work from home. We've opened our office, but in a very safe manner, depending on, employees who are not having a sustainable condition can come to office and work from office. And we are sort of closely watching the cases also, like there's a whole team which is sort of looking at each and every city's case, and we have security teams around the clock. So having said that, in a safe space, we still have 95-96% employees working from home. In a scenario like this, and last year was complete like virtual, and I see this is happening for most part of it for next year as well. So given that scenario, it's important for us to have all possible means of communication with employees, because that's the only way to sort of engage with employees in a virtual setup. We started with sort of a connection with leadership teams, and then I think every organization's doing it, so nothing to talk about specifically per se. Like, CEO Connect, BU Heads Connect, and sort of mails going out. We use Slack as our internal communication channel. So sort of we created multiple smaller Slack channels and team-wise Slack channels. Then there are hobby Slack channels, ERGs that you spoke about, employee resource group. We have many in our organization. We have for Pride, we have for Women's At, we have something for parents. There are employees who are for Veterans At, right? There are these employees who come from these backgrounds, and there are allies who are committed to these cause. So sort of having a group and channels to bring people who are passionate towards a certain cause together and have a line of communication, constant communication is one way, which is to sort of build camaraderie and cohesiveness in the organization. The one from a working relation standpoint between manager and employees, we start, while we've given flexibility to managers to choose whether they want to have like a stand-ups or a bi-weekly conversation. But what we have started driving is not only the number of conversations that you're doing, but also the quality of conversation. So a focus being from, we've made conscious effort to sort of amplify conversations in a direction where you are not only talking about performance, but also a holistic conversation in terms of well-being, checking on each other, sort of, feedback that works both ways. So how do you look at the whole approach of teams? So a virtual team connect, we sort of made every process virtual. So whether it is R&R on virtual or respective BU all hands in a virtual space. So that's how we continued with the communication. You, Avantika, spoke about new hire assimilation, which is such an important element from an employee experience standpoint. We have a program called Check-ins, which we run for a week, where we give this experiential immersion to our new employees. They not only get to know about the organization, but we take them through an online experience. So they get to know and I'll take a minute to talk about what an online experience is. So if you have ever used Airbnb app, you would see we have two businesses. One is homes and the other one is experience, which is you can, a virtual host, you can book an experience across the world, and they can, take you through the local cultural, programs in a particular country or a city. So for you to sort of experience that particular location. And this is something that we moved from in-person to virtual, and now it's open in person because travel's opened up. But this is one thing that we use for our check-ins as well. So to give a flavor of our employees, that how our hosts are on platform, what kind of products do we have, and they get a sense of direction. And these are something that we use. So in terms of building the appreciation for the product and for the mission that we are working, this is very helpful for us. So we are finding these small little ways in which we can keep connecting our employees to the purpose. And for our managers, through technology and through even, sort of a lot of frameworks that we put together, a lot of opportunity for employees to connect not only with their peers, but managers with skip levels. And we have a pretty much an open door. So there are open office hours for everyone. And in a virtual setup, every employee is free to block anybody's time whenever they feel like, given the calendar space, and chat about anything under the sun. So
awesome. Thank you, Bhumika. So that brings us to the last question for our session today. I've really enjoyed the conversation. Very, very quickly. And I want to start with Vaibhav. As you look at the future, 2022, what advice would you have to all our peers in the industry on how they can plan for a differentiated employee experience in the hybrid world?
Well, that's a tough one. If I have a crystal ball gazing, I would probably say that the important thing is we need to have our values very firmly anchored. That what is the really values that we want to drive. And in terms of the operationalizing and implementing, we need a framework which is a guiding framework, because we have to be very agile and we have to, deal with the wave after wave of disruptions, and not just health and pandemics, but I think other technology waves or global supply chain shocks and various geopolitical shocks. I think we are going to experience a lot of waves after waves of disruption. So for me, it's going to be very simple. Uh, Anchor yourself firmly in the right set of values, have a guiding framework, but be very agile to evolve it every quarter.
Awesome. Thank you, Vaibhav. Bhumika, how about you? Very
Yeah.
quickly.
Sure. And I agree with Vaibhav. I think there are a couple of things that's going to be very important to create a differentiated employee experience. One, for us in HR community, it will be very important to go beyond the demographics and look at the value first. And when I say demographics, it is like whether we are looking at baby boomers or Gen X, or Generation Z, and we are also, looking at mothers who want to come back to work. So looking at different demographics, but not just working something around these different talent segment, but also to understand what are the values, and if values may include things like career advancement, what are the collaboration purpose, financial well-being for these segments, and work our policies around this. I think the second thing is, when I say policy, there is a lot of opportunity for us to remove bureaucracy from policy and processes and sort of create a very simple, flexible working process for our managers that enables agility. Continued focus on manager capability to deliver. And lastly, I think personalizing the employee experience for every talent segment is going to be critical. Whether it is a hybrid work, or it is we going back to normal, which looks like least likely right now, or a virtual setup, but a personalized employee experience for different segment, different demographics is going to be important.
Awesome. What a great note to end on. Focus on a personalized employee experience. And I think, all of you, both of you hit all the right spots as far as employee experience are concerned. Be value driven, be agile, focus on all the demographics. And finally, like you said, Bhumika, personalize the experience. So thank you so much. This has been a fantastic discussion, and I'm sure that all our viewers, would have a lot to gain from the conversation. I know that I did. Thank you, Bhumika. Thank you, Vaibhav.
Thank you everyone for bringing some valid points on the table. Indeed, much to think over and learn. Proceeding further to the next session, stay tuned and keep exploring the Expo area as we'll take a short networking break.